your parents never seemed to really hold you back and treat you like a potential egg that could get broken.
Exactly.
And you benefited. You did everything.
Look, growing up with us, I wanted to do everything y'all were doing.
Tackle football.
Oh, yeah. Played in the yard.
Ringing the doorbells and running.
Oh, yeah.
Kids just don't get to experience the good times anymore, right?
There's
nothing more fun than being in a car with a tennis ball and them not knowing where it came from, jamming on the brakes and getting out.
Yeah, right.
Then the chase was
That
up.
was it, man. I mean, we grew up in a different world, obviously. The experiences that we had back then, I think it made us who we are.
All the believers, get out your seat. Let's raise a meter just for all the dreamers. Yeah, this is my time.
Welcome to another episode of East Texas Unfiltered. I'm your host, J. Chad Parker. Today we've got a guest that has two things in his life that most of us will never understand or never have done or experienced. One of them is type 1 diabetes, and the other is a passion for surfing. Alan, thank you for being here.
Chad, thank you so much for having me on the show. Very excited to be here today.
Well, I believe every human being is interesting, and it's just up to me, the host on this show, to find out what it is. You, for the people that know you, describe you as everything from a seeker of good times to a bundle of joy. And, I don't know where that comes from. It's certainly being related to you. I wouldn't say Arnold had anything to do with that.
No, probably not. Probably not at all.
I would say closer to Julia or maybe, a milkman. I'm not sure where you get this from. You're the smallest in the family, but you're the most joyous, right?
That's true in all words that he just said. But I tell you, I don't know where it is either, but my energy and my joy for life and just making people smile and have a good time, I don't know where that comes from, but I'm so happy to have it, and I'm so happy to be able to express it in a way that people recognize that.
Well, and you do just that with people, and I think people that are around you will admit that it's somewhat infectious. It's hard to be in a bad mood when you're at Stanley's, with some Ritas and some dancing with Alan. It's just hard to get down.
Yeah. I tell you, that is a passion in my life, too. That was not in part of the what you described at the start of the show. But yes, I do love to dance. That's another thing. And it just brings, people just excited. There's something happening. There's fun going on. And
it's no fun to be down all the time, or Debbie Downer. And also, there's studies that people that have positive outlooks, it's better for their health. They live longer. And with, some medical challenges that you've dealt with a long time, maybe that's been beneficial.
You're probably exactly right. It's just like, knowing when I was diagnosed with diabetes when I was age 7, and at a different time before technology advanced.
Right. We couldn't monitor it.
No.
But you need to tell people, because most people don't really understand. They hear, these commercials on TV talking about watch your A1C and somebody heavy sets doing a dance, But type 1 is a legitimate thing, right?
I produce no insulin, Chad. So I have to have insulin in order to survive, where others can produce some, but maybe their lifestyle change or lifestyle needs something else to help them have the correct amount and to produce insulin in order to control their blood sugar.
I've always understood that, but not the seriousness of what that actually means to say, my body, me, I don't produce any insulin. And that's what you've been like since age 7?
That is correct.
So when people say, well, he's an insulin-dependent diabetic, does that mean they're a type 1 diabetic?
Yes, because they're dependent.
Right, on a syringe, some technology that's been developed that introduces it to your body.
That's right.
Because when we go back to, you were born in what year?
1972.
All right. So in 1979, we hear Alan has a disease. And this is when we were, obviously very small. And we hear diabetes. Of course, nobody had ever heard of it before. I had heard it referred to in the African-American community as the sugar.
Yes.
But back then, nobody really knew. I just thought maybe, because Julia always fed you Cokes and cereal, that somehow that was connected.
Well, it's somehow connected because insulin, if you have too much in your body, your blood sugar gets low. In order to counteract that, you need sugar to get your blood sugar level back to an operating level, I guess you could say.
Yeah, because, I remember the advice that she would give us as kids when she would drop us off at Willowbrook when we play golf. If Alan has a seizure, just give him a candy bar or a Coke. And, can you imagine today's parents using that as, hey, that's what we'll do?
Yeah. And that did happen. Happened.
Yeah, I know.
And it's interesting. One, I give my parents credit to allow me to do things.
Right.
They didn't try to smother me and to protect me. They let me go out in the world. But with regard to that, yes, there was always, you had to kind of watch over, because if your blood sugar got low, yes, you would go in a reaction. And I was not because you don't have enough glucose in your mind to have an understanding with regard to what's going on.
You can't feed yourself.
Cannot feed yourself.
Yeah, I mean, you think about that, how we can no longer ride in the back of pickups. We can no longer, our parents can't smoke with the windows up. I mean, this is one of those things where, nowadays no one would ever think to let their kid go with no technology and just some buddies the same age going to be the paramedics.
Exactly. And that was pretty much it. Yeah.
But we did have a lot of good times, and thankfully,
no question.
we administered treatment when necessary.
Exactly right. And obviously it was the necessary treatment because I'm here today speaking to you on your show.
But, that's that had to be a daily, weekly thought. That is, when am I going to get my insulin?
Right. And it's everything because now you see people wearing the glucose monitors that, sensors that automatically.
I'm getting there, but I know what you're talking about. But what I want people to focus and understand is back in the 70s.
Yeah.
I mean, you had to have some medicine that was refrigerated and some syringes on a daily basis.
That's exactly right. Now, as I was going back on the glucose, basically you peed on a stick to see if you had ketones or not. You had no number associated that. You were the higher, 400 plus, or if it was a different color down on the lower scale of it, you may be low, and you'd have what we just discussed with regard to maybe a reaction or something like that associated with it.
So your parents, they would just do the best they could estimating where you were at any given moment.
You're basically flying by the seat of your pants.
But it's true. It was a daily dose.
Daily. So, and when I was taking insulin from a syringe, now obviously we'll talk about
when did
later.
That stop? How long did you do that before there was some other technique?
Well, I tell you, because of probably being a physician, and then physicians a lot of the times think they can care for every portion of whatever the particular disease is. I was out of law school before I got an insulin pump.
Were you syringes all the way to that point?
Syringes all the way to that point, which made it very difficult especially as a young man, trying to be out. You're always conscious associated.
Hold on, honey, I've got to take a shot.
Exactly, right. And it makes it kind of things like that in life a little tricky.
Yeah, you just have to plan around them.
Yeah. And a lot of it too, back in the day, I didn't want anybody to treat me differently.
Right.
So I kind of, in a sense, hide it or wouldn't be so upfront with someone to tell them, hey, I've got diabetes and there's certain things I have to do.
Because, you don't think of it as a disease, but I guess that's what it is.
Yeah, that's basically it. If I don't have insulin, then adios, man. I'm out.
I know. You and I have talked about that before, and you have that live every day like it's last spirit that it would have to take to say, well, if for some reason I couldn't get insulin, adios.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. Yeah.
And that's a lot heavier than what most people are living with day to day.
Right.
There's not a car wreck could get me, but there's not something that I need that I know of that could be withdrawn and my life be over.
That's right.
But that's, I guess that's in your soul, man. You know that. And so that's maybe having something to do with why you do enjoy every breath you're taking.
Yeah. He's exactly right. Yeah. Well, no one knows, any time with regard to whatever it's going on in their life or when that may not be in existence anymore. But, being diabetic, it's always in your subconscious.
Right. It has
Like
to
with
be.
regard to what's your sugar level, what's going on, and
Where's your monitor at?
yeah,
What's that noise beeping over there?
exactly. Yeah.
You know, but at least you can manage your lifestyle with your insulin with this technology a lot better.
A lot better, because without this technology, keeping your blood sugar level at a consistent basis, because when it's not a consistent basis, you know, high sugar levels can damage parts of your body, i.e., you remember when I was in law school, I had all that eye surgery associated
Right. I was
with
going to
all
ask
that.
you about the different procedures, but you're
Yeah.
right. I do remember. I didn't know what it was because you were in law school in
Yeah.
Houston.
Right.
I was back here starting to practice, and they said you were having eye surgeries. And tell us about what was causing that.
So it's called diabetic retinopathy. And so when your sugar levels are high, they're not controlled over a long period of time, your circulation starts to,
Slow or speed up?
well, it causes damage associated with that. So in the eyes, obviously you have smaller blood vessels, and for the blood to flow up, and I may not be, I'm no doctor.
Right. No, I know. But I mean,
I don't know the specifics.
just give us the armchair,
But-
diabetic injury summary.
Yeah, real quick. So when you're born, you have this substance in your eye that basically forms your eyeball, and I can't remember exactly what it's called, but what the medical surgery associated with that is a viscerectomy. You're taking that out, and then they fill it with some a saline type substance or whatever.
Have they done that to you?
That has happened because a lot of people. That's why a lot of diabetics went blind way back in the day, because that googly gump. So when you had a bleed in your eye, it would go into that whatever that jelly-like fluid was and cause where you could not see.
It would just cloud things up so dark that it would represent
It
blindness.
was almost like a yellowy, gooey substance, and you could kind of see through it, but with blood and goo and all that other stuff.
Have you had
associated with
this surgery in both eyes?
that. In both eyes?
And is this a permanent fix or pretty much, or is it something that has to be redone later?
It was pretty much a permanent fix. Also, they did some laser associated with that. So, like with my eyes, and then as associated with that, you were at the risk of developing cataracts earlier.
Which is just kind of a clouding over.
Yes. So at age 40, so I had some lasers also associated with the eye surgery where I have no peripheral vision.
You don't have any now?
No peripheral vision.
I mean, I've often wondered why, when I was coming up going like this over here, you're never looking at
Right.
me. I mean,
And it's, so that's something you had to adjust to with life.
a lot of head turning.
Yeah, a lot of head
I
turning.
mean,
Sometimes people have their hand down and like to shake my hand if I'm not looking, or it's like I may look like a total butt sometimes due to the fact that
somebody's trying to shake your hand.
and I'm not even
You're like,
recognizing it.
Well, it doesn't sound like you'd be much good in a bar fight either.
Yeah, right. But yeah, so into that, had cataract surgery. Then I had an issue with one of the eyes and had to have a something done with regard to that. But here I am. I mean, this is me, and basically a stage after going through some experiences with those things. But that's what's so important with technology, to be able to control the blood sugar at more consistency where it's not all over the place.
I mean, I've heard some people say before with different diseases and illnesses that they're hopeful that somehow technology could save their life, that it could get created, it could advance. And it's really stayed a little bit ahead of you and been helpful.
Yes, very helpful. It's kind of like one of those things like, well, goodness gracious, man, I'm glad I hung around long enough so they could have this, because it depends on where you were growing up, what generation. That might not even have been an option, and you were who you were going to be.
You were likely to have a chance to pass away.
Right. Yeah.
Now, before the surgeries, I mean, were you fearful of the blindness? Was that something that was in your mind? Because that's a scary thing for people.
Yeah, that's, I just live, and I'm fortunate, like I said, about technology advancing enough to when my body says, hey, this isn't working anymore, there's something to help with that. But I never really think about it. I don't think that forward with regard to what potentiality negative things may happen with you in your life.
You can't. It'd worry you to death, right?
Yeah.
Because you're set up with, hey, no insulin, dead.
Yeah.
This go wrong, blind. This go wrong, amputation, right? I mean,
Kidneys, that's another big issue with, diabetes, So, and it's really the vascular system associated with the vessels. And like I said, I don't know too much about with regard to the medical terminology, but yeah, there's always can be complications associated with diabetes.
And I guess it has to do with either not enough insulin and the body's reaction without it.
Yeah. So if you don't have insulin, then, your blood sugars go up. And when they're high, and for a long period of time, that's when it can cause complications.
Right. When your blood sugars are low, you're grouchy?
Well, when they're low, it could be because your brain's not operating correctly. It's almost like, I remember the first time I drank alcohol, I'm like, dude,
this is awesome.
It seems like a very familiar experience.
Oh, really?
Because like the brain was not functioning on, 100%. It was like it was on a smaller percentage.
Yeah, that's what they say alcohol does.
Yeah, that's right.
When you drink, you're not functioning at 100%. I think I've heard that on commercials, PSAs, and other things. Right.
So when you're low, your brain's not functioning at full capacity. And so,
you've learned to adapt.
Yeah, I figured it out, I think, most of the time. Maybe it's a balanced approach. I don't know.
But yeah, I think there's probably some people that are diabetics type 1 that don't drink. Are there?
There probably are.
I don't know.
There are probably people without diabetes that don't drink. So, there probably is more. Let's just say I'm not the poster child of diabetes. Yeah. I'm not the poster child.
Right. You're right. But that's okay. I think that, if you get around you and they know you long enough, I think they see that, the risk is worth the reward.
The juice is worth the squeeze. Baby.
Right? It's just worth it to live happily, joyfully, freely,
right?
Instead of sitting around waiting for the next bad medical complication.
Right. That's no way to live, man.
No, man. You're pulling it off, okay? You're pulling it off because not everybody can do it. People that are super serious. Any little thing going wrong, and even though they have everything in the world, feel like it's the end of the world.
Right.
That's not you. You've got a gift, my friend, and I think that's it.
I appreciate that.
But it's good to have that with what you've dealt with.
Yeah.
Have you had any other health problems like the eyes that you've had to deal with?
Fortunately, no. So, but the eyes are the window of the world.
Yeah,
so it's nice to have them.
Right. Any of your senses, smell, touch, and hear, see. You want them all.
Oh yeah.
But I know you've always liked things that were. I remember you skateboarded when you were a kid. Not everybody skateboarded, right? It was only a smaller group of, renegades sometimes, but you were still the happy skater, not the renegade.
Right. Yes.
So it's always kind of been a personality trait of yours to be happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You did everything. You played football.
Oh, yeah.
As you mentioned, your parents never seemed to really hold you back and treat you like a potential egg that could get broken.
Exactly.
And you benefited. You did everything.
Look, growing up with us, I wanted to do everything y'all were doing. And,
tackle football.
Oh, yeah. Played in the yard. We had a good time doing all that.
Ringing the doorbells and running.
Oh, yeah.
Throwing stuff at cars.
Everything.
I love that stuff, man. Kids just don't get to experience the good times anymore, right? There's nothing more fun than being in a car with a tennis ball and them not knowing where it came from and jamming on the brakes and getting out.
Yeah, right.
Then the chase was
that
on.
That was it, man. We grew up in a different world, obviously, from the kids these days. But the experiences that we had back then, I think it made us who we are. We're resilient, man. We can do, anything.
We could ride our bike to the 7-Eleven.
That's right. Yeah. We did. We did all those things.
Oh, man. But yeah, you kind of just followed, you went to Robert E. Lee, you graduated, you went to TCU, right?
Yep.
Then you went on to South Texas.
There we go.
So, we know you to be a type 1 diabetic. We know you to be a lawyer because you graduated from law school.
Yeah.
And you've been practicing law how many years?
I guess it may be my 29th. So licensed in May 1, 1998. So
yeah, you're coming up on.
Yeah.
That's hard to believe, isn't it?
Amazing.
And just like us all, our law practice has changed through the years.
Oh, yeah.
And tell us about really your practice right now, like the things that you do that you could help people with, or that, kind of what you've settled in on in the law.
Yeah. So, obviously we did litigation. We did insurance defense. I started doing plaintiff work around 2004, did that for probably up to 2019, and just kind of transitioned more. One, I wanted a more flexible schedule. And two, my office became an office of one. I'm the guy that gets the mail. I'm the guy that mails the mail. If
makes the copies.
Yeah, all the things from the bottom to the top. But I wanted more flexibility with regard to my schedule. And being an office of one, in your practice, you can't operate and do defense work or plaintiff work without a staff.
Some support.
Right, some support. And it just kind of worked my way to getting here in different ways because of my networking associated with the other things.
David Dial, I remember you had an office that
and that was kind of a big transition.
They helped you there
for me, and then a guy we know very well, my client, one of my clients, and it's probably my best client. I do his in-house counsel work. So anything going on in his businesses and/or personal stuff, I handle that for him. Also, this morning I was in a mediation from 9 to 1 before I came over here. I'm a member of the American Arbitration Association on the consumer panel.
So you do arbitrations between people and entities where there's an arbitration clause that says that's how you have to handle it?
Yeah, and they're typically smaller cases, like people in their wireless phone bills, there's an arbitration clause. In your credit card agreements or arbitration clause. So that's through the American Arbitration Association. Then I do some small estate planning, some probate work, some real estate work where I draft, deeds. But mainly, contractual type agreements, service agreements, and generally, it's a lot. And then I get some court appointments, as you're aware of.
Yes.
So that's very.
I mean, you're an ad litem in a lot of friendly suits.
An ad litem. So make sure the settlement's in the best interest of the minor who's been injured because they don't have the capacity to sign a release agreement. So where my practice is now, it's probably the best place that I've been. I mean, no, with regard to everything, but the least stressful.
Yes.
And because stress can cause, with regard to your diabetes, back to your blood sugar level, it can cause it to go up because your adrenaline and your stress.
Stress affects everything.
It does.
I mean, and you make a good point. I mean, there's a lot of stress in the law, and depending on your personality,
right.
It could be even worse, right?
That's no doubt about it.
And, I know what you're saying. You're saying that quality of life means more to you than the money you make.
Especially at my current stage of my practice and where I am.
Right. I mean, that's what you're saying. You're saying,
exactly.
Look, man, I don't care. I want to have enough business to do what I want and live how I want and be as unstressed as possible.
Yeah, and obviously from circumstances which you're fully aware of, my costs. I've lowered my costs with living.
It's a great business model. I mean, you've got a nice crib, right? And the office is inside the crib.
Yeah, that's right.
And so, I don't know if it's a mortgage payment or a write-off, but it's one or the other,
right?
And it's only a few blocks from Stanley's.
Yes.
Right.
That's a perfect place for me
to
be.
That's what, come on, Alan, I'll let you live in one of my rentals if you want to. He's like, no, I'm fine right where I am.
Yeah, I like my 0.9 mile walk to Stanley's.
Yeah. Your address, your place is cool. And it's everything you need, and that's all you care about, right?
Yeah, because I'm barely there except maybe during the working hours.
Right, and your son, Weston, he's off.
Yes.
I don't know if he's taken an internship or still in college.
So he'll graduate in May. Very excited for him. He's a semifinalist in the Fulbright scholarship, which is very intelligent. Very intelligent.
Right. I mean, we're all looking around saying, again, is this milkman? I mean, Alan's funny and joyous.
Yeah.
Where'd he come from? Weston's like super smart. Like, where'd he come from?
Yeah. So he'll graduate here in May, and then He'll be either in Spain for the year, teaching English at a smaller community over there, or he's applied to 3 graduate schools. He'll be hearing from these things pretty soon, and applied to teach Spanish, because he's a Spanish major, at some boarding schools in the Mid-Atlantic states.
He loves that Spanish, doesn't he?
Oh, he loves it.
I mean, he's mastered the language.
He has.
I mean,
and the other portion of he's also majored. He created his own major. You had to put a curriculum together and show it to Denison University, where it's basically a linguistics style major.
He's got his own Spanish.
Yeah,
his own style.
Yeah, learning origins of languages, and really deep diving into that world. And so, yeah, I'm very proud of him. He's done exceptional.
Because there's Spain, and then there's Mexico and Central America, right?
And they all have their different dialects. Just
right. And that's interesting. I always thought maybe, language in a northeastern boarding school or wherever he was, sometimes fed, CIA, State Department, those kind of government jobs, right?
Yeah.
I don't know that that's where he's headed, but...
He actually mentioned he's expressed interest in the CIA. They were on campus the other day, and one of his buddies, Jack Helms from Dallas, who's also up there and also semifinalist in Fulbright, that's kind of his road, not so much being out in the field,
right?
But being the guy, researching, doing all this and understanding so he can inform with regard to what's going on.
Right. I mean, because, our Central Intelligence Agency, they're responsible for, gathering intelligence outside the country, which a lot of that is foreign languages that are being transmitted either over phones, television programs, and they need people to translate.
That's right.
And pass along an analysis to a senior, like, hey, we think this is going on.
Right.
Well, that's exciting. I mean, knowing him like I do, he's a very mature person.
Oh, very mature.
For his age.
Yeah, and always been.
And he seems very confident, and he's not needy. Right, I mean, homesick doesn't even seem to be in his vocabulary.
No. I hadn't talked to him like 2 weeks.
Well, I mean, he's very. That's what I'm saying. When I was that age, I wasn't dying to talk to my parents all the time either.
It's typically what a need arises associated with typically monetary.
Yeah, right. Hey, Dad, can I borrow some money? But it has to be reassuring for you.
Oh, very much
that he's out there in the world. He's doing well, and he's going to be able to take care of himself without any support.
That is correct. And
right.
So that allows me, obviously, to be more of me.
And look forward to the future, right? Okay, right. Now, because he's not the kind that's looking for you to live his life through you.
No. He's developing his own life, which I'm so happy with, not trying to kind of guide
mold him into something he's not.
No.
Well, that's true. I mean, people are different, and life experiences also play a part in shaping who we are. And sometimes that seems to be different through different decades.
No question.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, living and knowing what you know now, I mean, would you want to go back to the Alan Wharton in his 30s?
Hell no.
I mean, I'm taking that's affirmation that you're happy with where you are in life right now.
Super happy.
And the choices that you make, you've described in your work, but your leisure time, as far as the activities, this surfing thing has really become a big important thing to you.
It's a huge passion to me, Chad. A huge passion. I mean, I call it. It's also my carrot stick associated with my workout, program.
You got to look good before you get out there without a shirt.
Well, you got to look good, but you got to have stamina.
Right, you got to paddle out there over and over.
Because surfing, basically only show the pictures or the video when you're standing up on the board surfing the wave. That's like 5% of the whole process.
The rest of it's struggling.
Yeah.
Trying not to choke to death on the water.
Getting in position.
Paddling out. Somebody steals your wave.
Yeah. Paddling
Turkey.
out. Yeah. Then the set waves come in. You're where the waves are breaking. Then the sets come out, which are closeouts. And you got to paddle, after you're fully exhausted already, get, another 50 yards out so you don't get just hammered by those set waves coming in.
And that's really kind of what I understood started your move into fitness through yoga, was to kind of prepare your body with body weight.
Yes.
To be fit enough to go out there and do this thing.
Yeah. Because it's very important. Plus flexibility associated with yoga. And, you got to be pretty flexible, especially when you're rolling around after a wave just takes you out.
And it just, it just feels better when you look better in a bathing suit than, old guy with a beer belly, trying to get out there.
You could ask anybody I've been on these trips with. I walk around, I don't put a shirt on basically the entire time I'm on these trips.
Yeah, I mean, I know you are low maintenance, so I'm going to have to throw that in.
Yeah.
But your passion from skating to Galveston, somehow you got your mom and somebody to take you to Galveston because we don't have any place to surf around here.
No, we do not.
And we've got one of the first photos of Alan in action with the grainy photograph, and I don't really see a half pipe there.
No. This is circa, who knows, the mid 80s in Galveston, Texas. You probably could see by the color of the water, that nice tingy brown. But that was one of my first, or maybe early on with regard to me being passionate about this sport.
So you enjoyed it, but then there was life. There was college, there was law school, there was going to work, there was a family, there was all these things, and there wasn't really time for surfing to go off on a trip for a week in Central America.
No.
Right?
No, not at all.
All right. So when did this spark come back into you and ignite to where you actually did something and said, I'm going to look at a website or I'm going to book a flight?
Yeah. So in 2023, as you well aware, it was time for my marriage to end.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm not laughing at the end. I'm just saying, you present that in a way that, yes, some things do come to an end in life.
Yeah. And sometimes there needs to be change,
Yeah.
For the better or worse, sometimes change needs to happen.
And some people and sometimes both people end up better for it, right?
That's true.
And so your life changes in 2023.
Yes.
You've got more time on your hands.
Yes.
And you now have the opportunity to think about, what is it that I like?
Yeah.
I'm how old at this point?
At this point, I'm 51.
Okay.
51.
So you've been a diabetic for over 40 years at this point.
Yes.
And you're still physically healthy.
Yes.
In spite of the multiple visits and the hours at Stanley's.
Yeah, that's it. It is amazing.
I mean, you're a case study on,
Yeah, they may be taking a look at me.
I think it's the machine and the pump that's the key.
Could be.
The monitor.
Could be.
Right?
Yeah.
Because, you can control what's going on because you can see what's happening.
Yeah. And too, like I think about today, early morning, didn't really get to eat. Now, in the old days, you had to eat at certain times of the day.
Right.
You had to have breakfast, snack in the middle of the day, lunch, snack in the afternoon.
Because there was no way to monitor.
No way to monitor. Nope.
Now, you stay up all night and forget to go buy McDonald's because they're already closed when you're headed in.
I don't think. Hopefully they won't be one of your future advertisers. But yeah, me and McDonald's. Ain't gonna be hanging out.
I don't know what's open in Tyler, when you're shutting it down and headed home. But let's say you can't eat. You wake up the next morning. Where are you physically?
I'm physically feeling awesome and really good.
I mean, there's not a blood sugar up or down.
No, it's because it's pretty consistent. That's the beauty of the technology. It keeps everything consistent. So even if you don't eat, the pump is working, talking to the sensor and either not giving you any insulin, or if it's going the opposite way, it'll give insulin. So it kind of helps. It's just like they're talking and they're trying to keep everything rolling.
All right. Now, diving deeper into the technology, you've said we've got a pump.
Yes.
That means we have to keep it charged up.
Well, so the pump, all right, so it's the one I have currently is it's called Omnipod. And so the pod is it's about this big, and I'd show you, but it's on my backside, but it's about this big, and you put insulin in that, and it's has its own little battery because it lasts for 3 days. So every 3 days, you put 150 units of insulin in one of these little pods, and
it just kind of.
And you stick it on there.
Do you find yourself using the same amount of insulin every 3 days, or does it depend on what your lifestyle is or what's going on?
It depends on some of the lifestyle, but two, just like with any technology, there's variables in everything, right?
Right.
So maybe the little cannula is kind of got to kink in it or something like that. Or the worst thing is when insulin pulls up. So it's like it's in there, but it's not getting to be absorbed out throughout the body.
Is it a thicker than water material? Insulin? Is it more gel or
I ain't no scientist, buddy. I
don't think anybody's going to argue with that.
I don't really, yeah, right. But I don't really understand the dynamics, but I do understand that, like, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it'll just go boom. And like, what happened?
When you say boom, are you saying how you feel, or are you saying the pump?
Insulin just all of a sudden maybe sitting?
It fires through.
It just comes through, and you're
a whole bunch at once.
Right.
What happens when you get a insulin kick like that?
Nosedive, man.
When you say nosedive, is that what you're doing?
So say
No, I mean,
yeah.
Are you fading? I mean,
I'm fading. So like say the blood sugars, typical. Most people's blood sugars range at 80 to 120, okay? Now, mine can be okay, like in 130, 140, whatever, all right?
I mean, you're a veteran.
Sometimes it goes even higher. So you're wondering, why is this staying up here? Because I really didn't eat anything. There's nothing that's going into my body that's causing my glucose level to go high. And so then you start like, well, I need to give more insulin. And that's sometimes where you're giving more insulin, and all of a sudden all that insulin starts working, and this thing comes, you're 150-ish, now you're heading to 60, you're heading to 50, you're heading to,
How do you stop that nosedive?
Well, this is not what should be happening all the time.
I'm not.
They're random, like just variables.
If they did, it's kind of a.
Then you got to get some sugar in you.
Okay, that's when you go back to the Coke and the candy bar.
But just like Fat Tuesday. Man, I knew there was something going on. I was a pound of insulin. Well, then went to the parade.
Are you sure it wasn't the Hurricanes?
Yeah, could have been. But danced
and the king cake.
But danced the entire parade route, and I look. It's like, oh no, man, because it was like 61. Like as we're getting to the finish line, and it's like, and it was going down quick. So
are you going to pass out, or what?
Yeah, at that point would be like in the old days, right? I'd go down, but it seems like I still have more conscious associated with what I need at the time, and can kind of, I don't know if it's based on experience, because I don't know if you can really fight your body that much with when it's, needing something in it before it just says,
you don't
hey,
feel it?
Oh, you feel it. But sometimes it happens like
so fast.
Yeah. And that's what happened. But luckily I got in there. Tracy had some orange juice.
Yeah.
Got that in my system. So.
A bar. They got plenty of sugar.
Yeah. So leveled up pretty quick. So
give me the frozen margarita.
Yeah. There you go. I mean, it's got some sugar in there, no doubt.
Well, this could be scary for some people, just talking and thinking about what you're thinking and talking about.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you got to have a pod to replace.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have to ever change a pump from your body and move it somewhere else. How does that work?
Well, the pods are adhesive, but you move them around because you can develop scar tissue associated with, where that little plastic infusion.
How does the body take the insulin from the pod that's stuck to the outside of your skin?
That's a good question. I don't know with the Omnipod, but it talks. I've got on my telephone, I have an app, right? So that's where I can push a button to bolus.
Cyber attack.
Yeah,
wait a minute.
yeah,
now,
right.
What's going on there, right? What do you do then?
Hey, let's don't tell everybody about this.
No, I'm just saying, if you couldn't look on the phone, what would you do?
It would be very difficult because there's some times where maybe for whatever reason, the pump just decides to give out. Like it has some error associated with that. It says, hey, replace your pump, right? Replace your pump. And now this pump is not even working. And I may be somewhere
where you don't have a pod.
Right. And so those particular occasions, it's difficult. I mean, it can be stressful, but
you have to plan.
Yeah.
I mean,
but sometimes I'm not a big planner, It's like,
I'm sitting here thinking, like, I know one thing should be in your pocket: a phone charger.
Yeah, right.
I mean, right? Your phone goes down. I mean, right? I mean, it's like everything is down because you can't see anything.
You definitely don't know what your blood sugar level is. Your pod will switch into what's called there's a mode associated with that. It comes off the automatic manual mode.
You can't look on somebody else's phone for your stuff unless you
No.
So it's probably some single software. Was this something very expensive when you got it?
Well, that's the thing too. With technology, fortunate, and I'm fortunate enough to be able to afford health insurance.
Right.
Because, and that's the thing, people that don't have it, I mean, it's just, you know, life's not fair.
It's
but
not.
I mean, it's, you know, it's fortunate to be able to have the technology.
Well, we'll explore that because I think it's a meaningful point. You know, there's gratitude. If you look at your life like you're thankful instead of you deserve, then, you know, that's gratitude, right?
Yes.
And, you know, unfortunately, in the world we live in, it is just true that everybody will not have the same opportunities.
That's right.
And they won't have the same health insurance, and insurance companies won't pay for the same things. And all of those they're sad realities. And, you know, we're not here to try and fix that.
Right.
Because that's well beyond anything you and I can talk about. But what happens to the people? You know, let's pretend that you're Alan Wharton with no health insurance. Can you get one of these pumps? I mean,
I don't know. There may be some processes associated with that.
You know, like
be
some people donate programs, right? But without that,
let's go back to 1979 when I'm, you know, injecting insulin with a syringe.
That's what I was curious about. For people that are you know, are poor and don't have insurance and know that they're a type 1 diabetic, are there people out there today that are injecting and urinating on a stick to try to figure out, you know, where they stand?
I'm sure they are. I mean, one with the test strips now, there's
it's probably
you prick your finger, and
I mean, that seems a little easier than always having to go to the restroom.
Yeah, you get a roll. Yeah, no doubt.
Chad, what are you doing in there?
You get a reading. So that's an economical with regard to testing your blood sugar. But yeah, I mean, unless there's some program associated with like either donations or something along those lines. I mean, that's the thing with the pod. It's like a one-time use thing. You know, it's not like
it's like a coffee maker.
Yeah.
If you want to think about it, the pods of coffee are the pods that go for the insulin machine.
Exactly.
So you got one, you're throwing that out.
Right.
You get another, you need to buy, you got to buy some more.
Yeah. But there's other companies, because I saw my endocrinologist last week and he was talking about a different pump. Medtronic makes a pump, which I was on a Medtronic pump before. It's got a tube, so, you know, it inserts those themselves. So, you know, they have generation, you know, just like in any technology. Oh, we got the new 600, we got the new 700.
I got the iPhone 17.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, iPhone's a great example. So there's probably these kind of things once, you know, they've been used but can be recycled, and there's probably something
for people that get a lower model that don't have anything.
Right. Yeah. But it's better than the alternative.
Right.
You know?
I mean, that's but as far as the pump, I'm trying to understand the difference between the pump and the pod.
So the pod is just a different, in a sense, it's the same type of instrument, but it's, I mean, heck, it's like, you know, that big. And so it's pushing insulin. So the other one with a tube, it's also pushing insulin.
What mechanism is the energy that pushes the insulin?
You know, I mean, it's got to be some. My guess, I haven't like.
I'm just curious.
I haven't dissected
you
one.
You say pump, so I think pump,
right? And I think a pump is just a term, like I guess, like Kleenex, right? You know, it's a tissue, right?
Yeah, but a pump has mechanical energy.
Yeah, so it's doing something. It has some mechanism that whenever I push the button to give me 6 units of insulin, it's somehow,
because it's not gravity. It doesn't just drip into your body.
No, it's got some sort of, my guess on this instrument, because it clicks. So it's probably some sort of device that's, you know, like a screw, you know, like your, so it's giving that. And the same thing with the pump. It's like there's some sort of, it's like turning to push.
I wonder if there, you know, I don't know if you know about technology, but we hear about, you know, human computer technology interfaces in the future.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering whether, you know, diabetics, type 1 and insulin, there'll ever be some kind of implantable.
You know, there's been discussions associated with that. I don't know where that is currently, but it's just like anything. I mean, I don't want to, but yeah, I mean, you think with technology where it is now and what people are able to do.
Could they ever cure?
You think that with, you know, you could think about that with all sorts of different diseases. We just don't know. I mean, unless someone says, hey, we've got this new technology, but you would think at some juncture with the way things are advancing in all areas of technology, that something like that could come along.
What about a cure? I mean, I don't know
Yeah.
what the cause of not producing any insulin is and whether or not that could be, jump started or
Right.
in some.
And I'm sure, and I'm not up on all the things
Right, I
I
mean-
probably should understand about my own particular
But you're not,
disease.
you're not like, you're not stressed out focused, and that's why you don't know.
No, that's right.
Because somebody else, if they think it up, you'll hear about it.
Yeah. I'm sure if some
Yeah, I mean,
wonder thing is going on.
There's a cure.
Yeah,
I was
hey.
like, hey, there's a cure.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I would at least think I would get that information. Now, I don't pay attention to everything that's going on, but, it's just because there's too much going on.
Right. And, between work and back to the fun
Yeah.
and back to where we were in 2023,
Yeah.
where you had this time.
Yeah.
And how did you reconnect with the first surfing trip, man?
Well, I thought, I had that in 2023, a time in my life to, say I wanted to go back to some of the passions I had when I was younger that I never got to fully explore, and surfing for me it's just the most beautiful thing. I mean,
It looks beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, just this picture of you, I love water.
Yeah.
I know you love water, but I mean, it's hard to ride a board.
Yeah, it is.
But it's serene, right? I mean, it's peaceful. You can't really hear outside noise, can you?
No, I mean, it's you're sitting in the ocean, which is the most uncontrollable,
Yeah,
magnificent
right. I mean,
piece of water.
yeah, like a shark could get you.
Well, let's don't get down.
I'm worried about that.
You're making me pick my feet up right off this
I'm
chair
never
right now.
wearing me a black wetsuit. They'll think I'm a sea lion.
That's right. That's right. But it's something I wanted to get back in, and I was so fortunate to find a group called Rise Up Surf Retreats. And
how'd you find? Was there a bunch of them, or was there only a couple of them that you had to choose from when you started looking?
so I didn't really know. I was talking to a friend of mine, Lee Porter, and because she knew I loved surfing when I was growing up, and I was talking to her during my change of life. And
Was she a surfer?
No, but she knew I loved to surf. So she went to school in California, a little small liberal arts school called Westmont. It was in Santa Barbara. And so I went out twice in college. She had a buddy, took me out surfing. We were talking about the other day. It's like where I was, I think it was Rincon. And
That's cold water.
Yeah, wetsuit, baby.
I mean, Pacific Ocean.
But it's crazy. I look back on it. How did I paddle out? Like, I didn't even know I knew, enough, but I didn't know.
I've seen it on TV.
Yeah.
I figured I could do it.
Exactly.
I mean,
kind of same way, but surfed out there. I mean, it wasn't, because I didn't know exactly how, other than watching on TV, thinking you know what you're doing.
you had no technique, no training, nothing.
Exactly. So I spoke with her because she had a friend that went on a Rise Up Surf Retreat. And so then I got on the internet website, looked it up. I'm like, man, this sounds just what I need.
Except for the accommodations.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
yeah.
you can rough it a lot easier than I can.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
AC has to be number one.
Well, I know you enjoy your AC and your luxury. That's for sure. I don't mind sleeping in the corner,
No, I know I've seen that.
Yeah.
And within the last week or so.
Right. But it was interesting because there are two locations. Well, I was wanting to go. I don't think this is a shot, but there was another one.
This is a good shot of you.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I mean, because you're half wetsuit there.
Yeah.
Because that must be in either Costa Rica or Nicaragua.
Yeah, that one's probably, and I'm looking at that. That might have been in Nicaragua, and that's what I was going to say. The first where I wanted to go initially, they had a retreat in the Oso Peninsula down in Costa Rica. It looked just amazing, but they didn't have any available dates when I was ready to go, and I never thought in my wildest dreams I would ever go to Nicaragua.
Right. I mean, that's not where you think about, hey, I'm going to go down to Nicaragua. Right. Last time I heard about Nicaragua, there was like a war with the Contras and the Sandinistas.
Yeah, right.
In the 1980s.
Exactly. And so let's just say when that topic came up and I was, telling people, they're like,
death squads were going around to get the surfers.
Thought I was out of my mind. But now it's one of my favorite places.
But, that's the thing about people jumping to conclusions
Right.
and not knowing what they're talking about.
Yeah,
Nicaragua, what are you, crazy?
Yeah, the reality about the situation.
Probably the safest place in the world right now.
It is pretty good. It is pretty good.
So, I gather from talking to you that Nicaragua is your favorite spot to go surf with the group known as La Familia in Rise Up.
That is correct.
All right. This is a group photo that we got from you.
Yeah.
And this is just a collection of like-minded people.
That's exactly right.
Right? They like to surf.
Oh,
They
yeah.
probably like yoga.
Oh, yeah.
They like to have a good time
That's
in the off
Yeah.
and, have a meal together.
Oh, yeah. All that.
And it's really, the focus is not probably other topics other than, just the waves.
Just good times, man.
Yeah. And I bet you that is nice. It's nice to get away, only if the accommodations.
Yeah, a little bit better for you. But you're right, man. Like-minded people, just good vibes. Look, for being a surfer, you just kind of have to have that kind of, attitude.
Have you gotten better at the actual art of surfing since
I have.
Have there been techniques that you've learned, things that made it easier to stay on the board, balance, catch a wave even?
Yes, because, actually one of the most difficult parts, at least for me, is actually catching the wave.
Right, just because I see the instructors sometimes giving people a little push.
Right. And that's what's so nice about Rise Up. They do everything. It's surf coaches in the water. They video your waves, take, photographs, and it's just an amazing outfit. But yeah, they're there, help you. They're in the water with you. If you need a shove, they're going to give you a shove.
So people that are listening to this who may think, well, I've always wanted to learn to surf or go surf or do surfing, and, and they're kind of adventurous people. Is this something they could sign up for, or do you need to have some level of proficiency?
You could go with Rise Up Surf Retreats and never even thought about surfing. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. They break you from the ground level up, and it's amazing, the progression. I've seen, 3 girls that I met in Guatemala on a birthday in 2025. And that picture right there was my birthday trip of this last year.
This one?
Yeah, but they had never surfed before. And now they're catching green waves, which means they're out paddling out there where the waves are coming in versus people learn on the white water.
Right, just barely,
But it's amazing. They're so good at what they do, Chad. And where I am in my progression now, I'm happy where I am, like with regard, it's just small stuff like your stance, your pop up, like where your hands at, where, what's your stance, how are you standing on the board? Because it makes a difference in how you move. So,
I'm Bodie.
Yeah.
I just saw it. This Point Break was on this morning when I got up, and it was at the very end of the show where Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze are handcuffed together. He's like, come on, man, let me go. And there was these huge waves that they had gone to catch.
Yes.
And, the end is, he died in the wave.
Yeah.
But that's what he wanted.
But if you're going to go down, I guess that's, it's probably a pretty good way to go. It could be a little bit more tragic. But,
now, is there any like sightseeing or extracurriculars when you go on these surf trips where you get to see a little of the country? I see a photo of you here.
Yeah.
You're hanging loose, and I don't know if you got your shoes on or what. I
do, because we hiked up to a waterfall.
Okay.
And this is just me jumping like from the side, across the falls. But there's a lot of fun activities. You get to see the area, the locals. They have activities from horseback riding to they'll do a boat trip, and hikes and those kind of things. But it's fun because
local brew.
Well, yeah, but that. And
most of the time, these countries only have like one, don't they?
Well, my favorite is Tonya.
All right.
And that's
Tonia.
Tona.
Okay.
With the squiggly, I don't know what you call it in Spanish.
Like
N.
Sueños. Tonya.
Tonya.
Right? Okay.
Yeah. But all of them have their own.
What does that mean in Spanish?
I think I looked it up one time.
You're not even as curious as me.
I did look it up. I think it's like a name, or like a female name or something like that.
Okay.
I can't remember the.
What does it taste like?
Tastes like pure gold, baby.
Okay. Pure gold. For the people who have drank beer that see this show, is this like an IPA, like
No,
a red, a lager, a light?
It's like a lager.
Okay.
I mean, it's like your typical like
Dos Equis.
Yeah, exactly. It's that
Modelo.
Exactly.
It's just that country's version.
Yeah.
All right.
So Costa Rica has Imperial.
How much is a beer over there when you go to Nicaragua?
Well, it depends on where you are, but
I mean, like,
it could be
if you're not getting gypped as a foreigner.
It's about 80 cents.
Okay, that's what I was.
Yeah.
Your money goes a long way over there.
Yes, it does.
The trips with Rise Up, because it sounds like a good outfit that you vouch for.
Oh yeah, totally, 100%.
For people, and people come from all over the U.S.,
all over the world. I mean, Canadians. It's amazing how many people from Canada either live and or come down on these surf trips. I guess they got to get out of the cold.
Yeah. And I guess they have their own magazine or something, because they did a piece on you in their magazine. And we see Rise Up Surf Retreats. I don't know if this is a website article or or a magazine. What is
it? It's a website. So this is from their website, and it's under their journal. So they'll have every now and then. So this LAC camp.
I was about to say, LAC?
I've not met him in person, but we've communicated through WhatsApp, and I follow him. He follows me on Instagram, but he's from, I think it might have been like Portugal. He's from somewhere over in that area.
Are these people that are living in Nicaragua, or these people that are somewhere else with Rise Up that arrange these trips in different countries?
So most of the people, these people, they use some outsourcing associated with different things, but most people. They live either in Nicaragua or they're in Costa Rica. And on the trips, you'll always have local surf instructors. There'll be some that are from Spain.
Probably the best are local, right?
Well, they're great. I mean, they're all fantastic.
And they know the waves. They know the terrain.
Everything. But and then so Costa Rica, they have another bunch. So, but most of them are from Central America, maybe Mexico. But yeah, they're incredible, and they're just the most loving people, man. They're so happy and just beautiful.
Well, you gave an article, and I had a chance to look at it.
Yeah,
it's funny how a lot of these words, apply to you very specifically, right?
Yes,
inspiration. I mean, you seem inspired to go on these trips, to be a part of this group, not really knowing who they are the first time you ever went.
That's exactly right.
I mean, you didn't know anybody, did you?
The first time I went, my first trip, I just went. I didn't know anybody. But that's what's so wild, that these instant connections. And then I developed connections with the staff and all those people. Now it's like,
well, you are
part of the family.
You're a people person.
Yes.
That's your strong suit for sure. I'm not surprised you went down there and immediately after one trip had made some inroads with the people, right?
Yeah, right.
But people watching this have to ask themselves, would they be willing, even if they love surfing, to go on their own to Nicaragua with a group they didn't know?
I would say yes. You just have to have an open mind.
Right. Most people would not.
Right.
I don't think.
And that's the thing.
But they should.
Because you're going to meet people maybe different from your thinking, right?
And you're going to like them.
Yeah. And because it's just an amazing one. You get up. You're up at 5 o'clock.
Yeah. Let's go through a schedule on a surf day.
Right. Get up at 5. Have coffee, maybe some granola, those kind of things, a light breakfast.
Yeah, I figured granola with you guys.
Yeah, right. And then,
just kidding.
Then you're heading to wherever you're surfing at, to be there at 6.
You're not staying on the ocean or anything?
Well, you can. So there's different locations, right? You can walk that, like at the northern location, you walk, to Nahalapa. That's the break there.
What's Point Break? That was the name of the movie I saw. And you mentioned it in your article. What is a point break?
So let's look at, say, the edge of your table, right?
Okay.
So it's just basically where say that jumps off, but then the beach comes back here, right?
Right.
So when the swell comes in, it hits this point.
Right.
And so then the wave continues, and it peels for a long time. On a beach break, there's sandbars created by waves.
Yeah, they're just kind of, when you're walking on the sand, you can see it's like this under the water.
And those shift around based on currents and things
hurricanes.
like that. But point breaks, they're basically it's, typically rock or
They're not
reef.
moving.
They're not moving. And it all swell dependable with regard to that, how big the swell is for it to be working correctly. But yeah, a point is just, it's coming in. And so it hits something and then it's curling.
But
yeah.
Do you paddle out there because that's where the best waves are?
Well, one thing that's great about point breaks, one, they're consistent. You know where it's the way the wave's going every time. It could be a left-hander, which means when you talk about going left, it's your left, not like when you're looking at the beach, the left would, it's kind of opposite. Like it's kind of like
either way,
yeah.
You can see which way it's going.
Yeah.
I mean,
and the beautiful thing about that is it peels out. Then there's a channel to paddle back out, so you're not having,
where you're not against the wave.
Yeah, right. On a beach break,
I'm ready.
Yeah, let's go. You want to go? Here, he's seen it. Let's go.
I'm ready.
Baby.
No, I mean, well, it says the Texan lawyer, which brings into, what we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
You're a diabetic. You're a lawyer. You're a father. And you're certainly a fanatic.
Yes. Yeah. In many things.
I mean, turned surf fanatic, right?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And I think, enthusiasm is a better word to describe you, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm enthusiastic about life in general, but just the people I meet and just, I just have a joy and love. I really have a love for people.
I think you do. And I feel that. I'm curious, when's the last time, you have ever been disappointed?
Well, I mean, life's got disappointments, but I really think in my journey about this chapter in my life is just mentally, you can control this thing on top of your head, right? I mean, it's yours, right? It'll try to bring up things that may not be the most happiest or most nothing you
that
really
maybe you can't control,
right? But I've learned is like, hey, man, this is my brain. I don't have to listen to all that noise and stuff, right? But with disappointment, if there is something, I
overcome it.
I handle it different than what it is, right? I handle it different.
There's a book someone gave me and I read. It's called As a Man Thinketh. And it's kind of along those lines. It's like, you can control even bad situations, how you think about it. Right. And it seems like you've been doing that a big part of your life with this type 1 diabetes.
Yeah, totally.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, because it would be easy to fall back into poor me.
Yeah,
I'm scared to death. I'm about to die. I don't have long. Something's going to happen in the future. Right? I mean,
yeah, I'm just in a sense like I'm going to manage whatever this thing is. So, because I want to be doing this. I don't want to be. I'm going to manage, like, even if it's tough, always in my subconscious, whatever I'm doing, but I'm just going to do what I want to do. And this is secondary with regard to, even though it's important, primary, right, my physical health, but I'm not going to let that stuff slow me down. Like, just like you said, like if I was someplace and I didn't have insulin, I got to change my pod, but it's at the house. I just kind of say, hey, this is where we are right now, man.
Yeah.
It's going to be there.
We got to figure out a way to get there.
Right. And at the same time, still enjoying others.
Yeah.
And if I'm somewhere like with other people and not to like burden them with regard to like my things.
Yeah. No, I feel like, I know you. I'm close enough with you where, if anybody can talk and joke with you about something serious, it's me, because
totally.
it's we're not letting it take us over, that we're on razor's edge all the time. Right. You got a tattoo, a new one, on your forearm. What is it?
This one, man?
Yeah.
This is one of my favorites. Siempre disfrutando. Always enjoying. That's like my theme, man, for life. Just enjoy life. We have it.
Right.
We're fortunate to have it.
And we're not going to always have it.
Yeah, no.
Right.
But why not enjoy you while you have it?
And we don't know exactly how we will enjoy the afterlife, right? I mean, we don't know what the interactions will be like exactly, but we know physically we have, relationships with humans that can be positive or be negative.
Right. All that we know is what we know now. And we know we're alive.
I think I am.
So let's fucking live it, buddy. Sorry about
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
Because in the magazine I circled what you said. I have a passion for life. I enjoy meeting new people. I cherish good times. And of course, I love surfing. And that pretty much other than love of family, you've pretty much caught everything that's important to you, I think.
Yeah, that's pretty much a pretty good summary.
Because, I mean, I know family's important to you, even though it's like some people who, faith is important to them, but they don't spend all their time talking about it. Right? I mean, it doesn't mean they don't think it's important in their lives.
No, it's very important.
So I understand that. And, do you have any kind of goals for surfing? Like, maybe I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to learn this. Is there anything that's kind of on your bucket list?
Yeah. I mean, there's obviously things, like every time you go, they'll say, "Hey, what do you want to do this trip?" What's your progression? And so mine this time, because I'm going in a month. Yeah, and that's part of my schedule, right?
You've got a March trip.
Yes.
Back to Nicaragua.
Exactly.
You were there in January for your birthday.
Oh, yeah.
Now, will there be any more trips the rest of the year?
Oh, yeah. There will be. I try to go, my goal with regard to that is once a quarter.
All right. Well, don't forget about Zach's wedding in October.
No, we got that. That's on the calendar. That's not going away. But it's kind of like my mental health, too. Take a little break from...
It's a recharge for you, right?
Recharge.
And plus, you can only see Heather and Tracy so often. I mean, you need to get you need to get a little change of scenery, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
But okay, so you're back to Nicaragua. Are the waves in that month any better, or do the months ever matter seasonal?
The months matter. So the dry season is typically November to kind of beginning of April.
Dry means not raining?
Not raining.
Okay.
But it also means there's not big swells that come in.
No storms. Storms create swells.
Right. And in the rainy season.
I should be right.
I mean, look,
rise up.
I mean, you got this, buddy.
I mean, tell Lack about me.
Reach out. But yeah, right. So typically, rainy season, you're going to have bigger swells. And then in the dry season, it's more consistent, It's like that one right there, like you're just looking at that. I mean, that's a decent sized wave. It hadn't fully formed up. But yeah, you're going to get pretty consistent waves. And it's not going to be waves that beginners or people who are learning to get in trouble. I mean, they're not going to pound you down.
Okay. Nicaragua, the focus, is it really the group La Familia that makes you like Nicaragua, or is it the waves or something more specific about the geography?
Well, I really love, La Familia, it's amazing. And then just the connections that reach out through the community from that. But the waves are very, very consistent. They have a lot of different, like say spot's not working. Well, there's going to be a spot that's working. So there's always options associated with the breaks.
What are the surfing options in the U.S. that people generally go to?
Typically, probably, outside of Hawaii, obviously Hawaii.
No, let's say the 49.
Yeah. So, California, Southern California, obviously, Northern California, but you got cold water.
Well, that's cold up there.
Cold water, and obviously cold water. You got other species in the ocean that you may not want to be paddling around with.
Are sharks a cold water species?
Well, it's typically, don't get me, but you typically hear about them, like Australia, right? California, but then
Jaws was on the Atlantic side.
But then, yeah,
remember?
Right. The Atlantic,
the
Gulf, you see that happen. Time to time, there's going to be a swimmer out there that
gets bit
in Florida and stuff like that. So, it's just part of it.
What about the waves? Are there? Yeah. Is Nicaragua better than, say, in your mind, these waves around the coast of the U.S.?
Well, I think what it is its consistency. So in Nicaragua, they have two huge lakes, Lake Managua and Lake Nicaragua, and so you get a lot of offshore winds. That means the wind's blowing from off the shore. So when the waves are coming, wind's blowing this way, so it holds the waves up. That it makes it a cleaner face. Onshore wind, it kind of pushes the wave down. So you get a lot of consistent with regard to those kind of factors when you're talking about surfing.
Well, let's talk about maybe a destination outside of Nicaragua. Do you have any interest in one day before you die surfing a certain spot?
Yeah. We didn't talk about Costa, but Costa is one of my favorites due to the fact that in the ocean, they're point breaks. They're all point breaks. So
that means there must be some rocky.
Yeah, rocky
everywhere.
And the right-handed point breaks.
Do you have to worry about being thrown into the rocks?
Yes, you do. And it's difficult when you're walking out. Because you're walking on rocks,
Can't you wear those shoes?
You could, I guess.
Do you wear those?
No, I don't wear those.
I mean, those little booties with a hard bottom, that'd be cool. If it was rubber, wouldn't it stay on the board better?
Yeah.
Give you a little better balance?
Yeah, it could.
But is that looked down upon as not real surfing?
I wouldn't think so, because, it's funny, and I'll get back to the initial question. Just like in skiing, if you got, you remember when you skied in a toboggan?
Yep.
But now you go skiing, everyone's got what on?
Helmet.
Exactly. So even surfing's kind of advancing in that direction too.
Helmets,
because not only for the bottom, but these fins on surfboards can be very, very sharp. It's a plastic, right? But if it hits you, it can cut you. And so they're developing helmets with like a plastic type thing. So if, a lot of people get hit by the board. So safety is always progressing in every kind of, sports. So,
I don't.
I can't remember what it was, but yeah.
What we're talking about is the
the rocks,
the rocks and the and whether that was a danger the closer you were surfing to a point.
Yeah, I mean that is a danger. I mean, because people get cut and scrapes all the time.
I mean, you don't see that. All you do is you think about surfing. People are on the water, they crash into water, they get up, and go back out.
Yeah, but there's things on the bottom that that can affect you if you fall on them.
I mean, is Nicaragua, it's economical and good waves?
Yes.
I mean, like it's cheaper to go there than to go stay in Southern California at a hotel and try to go surf?
Yeah. And they have everything you need. You could basically take, a couple of swimsuits and you could get by for the entire week. You don't need a lot. They have the board for you. They've got food. They're going to feed you every day. They got Tonya.
They got beer?
Oh, they got Tonya.
So it's part of the
It's part of the thing.
I mean, you could outdrink them you could turn them upside down on the daily.
My man Paul and I, this was a trip I think it was last November, and plus the guys that were down there from Rise Up, their crew, good buddies. My buddy Elmer, Norvin, Newman, Chepo. I mean, I think we drank them out of Tonya that week.
I bet y'all did.
Yeah.
I bet y'all tried if you didn't.
Yeah, it was good times. But to circle back, Spain. I want to go. I'd like to surf in Spain. One, I like Spain. My son went studied abroad there at Salamanca.
You went and visited.
And up north they have a really cool surfing community. And Manu, another surf instructor who's from northern Spain, and his girlfriend June, she's from the Basque Country, which it's so cool up there. But yeah, they're from up there, and they have surf schools and during the off season when they're not working in Central America. So yeah, there's all sorts of spots, but Spain would be a cool spot too.
I mean, is there any surfing in the Mediterranean? I mean, I've never really heard that.
I mean, it's Mediterranean would be more similar to like the Gulf. You're not gonna. It's because you're not having big swells come through. Like Spain, you got the whole Atlantic, I mean, if people watch that, which I would never do, and no one in their right mind, unless you're just an adrenaline junkie and life is really, people seen that 100-foot wave. I think it's been on HBO. So
yeah, I was about to say that. Where are those huge waves?
That's Nazarene, and that's in Portugal. And so it's interesting with regard to that wave, because waves, it's swells from storms, there can be wind, and then it's the bottom that when the wave hits the shallow that builds the wave and what it's gonna do. So Nazarene's crazy. I mean, that thing's like some sort of canyon all the way almost to
the shoreline.
Yeah, and so you have water moving, and it just hits the shallow with nothing to it didn't slow down.
That's how it could slam you.
Oh, yeah, those things are, crazy.
I wonder if that was where they were in the movie Point Break. I can't remember
what
where
they
went.
It was something like crazy like
But
that.
you're probably not going to surf that one.
No. Yeah, I mean, I do enjoy life, but I enjoy life. I like living, right?
That's too tough.
Yeah.
Well, this has been interesting.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed digging deep with you. I, of course, know you and talk to you more than anything, and I love you, man.
I love you, too.
I think it was interesting for people to hear both about diabetes and the struggles that you have and what, and part of the reason why you enjoy life like you do, which leads to the surfing that we all learned about.
Yes.
Maybe we'll inspire someone to sign up for Rise Up trips from around here and go down there with you.
We'd love to have you down there for sure, man. It's always good to have another new surfing bud.
All right, man. I love you. Thanks.
Love you, Chad. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Yeah, my time right now.